Hey guys, and welcome to another tutorial video. Previously I looked at the Nowhere Man solo tone from the Beatles album Rubber Soul. Today we're going to be looking at another famous Beatles tone, and that is from the single version of Revolution. Now this tone divides many. Some people think it is terrible, to the point that a lot of the original run of 45s were returned because listeners thought they were defective. How did they come up with this tone? Well, basically Geoff Emerick plugged the guitar straight into the preamp in the console, and then took it out of that preamp into the next preamp, and then pushed the gain up on both preamps just before the point it overheated, which could have been dangerous in the sense of not only starting fires but damaging the equipment for expensive repairs. He's quoted as saying he would fire himself if he was studio manager. So how did we do this with Slate plugins? Basically, I'm using Tube, preamp emulation, and a few little tricks with the Slate Everything bundle to kind of get this sound. So first I'm going to show you the sound, and then we'll go through it. For this, I am playing my Parenti T-Type, which is a 60s style Telecaster. Now, I think the original recording may have been a Casino. I'm not 100% sure. It was 1968, so there was a fair few different guitars that the Beatles used at that point in time. But I'm just using a Tele. It works for this. So here's the tone. So you kind of get the idea. It's in your face, it's harsh, it's distorted. Okay, so I use two different plugins, which is the FG Mu and the Virtual Mix Rack. Now, because I've got the Everything bundle, Virtual Mix Rack has all the racks in it. The FG Mu we'll come back to later. It has a role, but it isn't the main thing that is getting the sound. So I'm going to turn it off for now, and we'll add it last to show you what it does. So let's go take a look at the Virtual Mix Rack. So what I've got here is a trim plugin, custom series equalizer, FG76, London, another FG76, and the VCC virtual channel. Originally I tried to do it with just FG76s, as these are based on the Valve Telefunken preamps, but I found it started getting gaty and spitty before it got the saturation I needed, so I've kind of put London here to do the heavy lifting, with the 76s doing like the tone shaping. We'll get to that and I'll show you. So let's just first bypass the whole thing, and this is what my DI'd Telecaster sounds like. Okay, so as I said, the heavy lifting is done by the London. So what we're going to do is turn off the custom series equalizers, turn off the FG76s, and just listen to the London by itself with this trimmer plugin pushing its front end. Now that's sort of somewhere there, but nothing what we want yet. So I'm going to throw in the FG76s. As you can see, the drive is up high. The trim here is adding a bit to the London, and the London is pushing this one with about 5 dB boost. A lot closer. So what I'm going to do is add the VCC channel. Now this is just on the RC tube setting. It's adding a little bit of that channel warmth and a little bit of clipping, but it's not, driving distortion by itself. And the thing I noticed is there wasn't quite enough high end, and there wasn't quite enough distorted low mids. So I've added 12K, I've added 600, and I've added 100 with the custom series equalizer. So we'll show you what it's like without it. and with it in. Now we move to the FGMU. So that's great and all, probably needs a little bit more saturation, and as I kind of hit softer, you lose that saturation. So what the FGMU is doing, it's kind of evening out the guitar signal going in to kind of make it clip more often. I'm also boosting it a little bit, but going into the FGMU just to get some of the warmth and clipping from that's emulated circuit. So this is without it. And this is with the FGMU in. So that is basically that Revolution tone. Now, how close is it? It is not exact, but that is partly because none of this stuff is actually emulating the real preamps and the real desk that the Beatles used, that Geoff Emerick had in Abbey Road. It is close, but it isn't quite there. There is a plugin that will get you closer, not from Slate, but from Waves. I almost said it just then, which is the Red 51. Now, a lot of Waves plugins, I find the distortion a bit weird, and I don't really like it. That is not the case with the Red plugins. I really enjoy them, and you can get this kind of tone with that, with the drive control and just using 2. So yeah, if you have the Waves plugin, try that. I might do another video trying to do it with the Waves plugin, maybe try and do it with some free plugins as well, see how we can get there. But as the Slate has a lot of this emulation stuff, you can do it with this kind of stuff. There is pedals like the color box and stuff that meant to do this. Now the color box is 2 Neve 1073s, which is not what the Beatles use at all, but it's that console crushing into a console transformer thing. Now the thing is, you'd have to use it direct. A guitar cabinet is what makes it kind of sound pretty and nice in the high end, doesn't give it that harsh upfront cardboardiness that this has. So yeah, I mean, you could get there with a fuzz pedal, but you'd have to EQ it extremely to try and get over that cabinet. But a fuzz pedal may be straight into the desk. If your sound engineer doesn't want to kill you for doing that, then that could work as well. Obviously, it's not a tone you use all the time, but it works for certain settings and certain occasions. So thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you haven't seen the Nowhere Man video, go check that out too. I'm planning on doing a few more of these videos, and not just guitar, drums and bass and a few other things, just to, using Slate stuff, using free stuff, using some other plugins I own, maybe some Sound Toy stuff, just to get some famous tones, famous little studio tricks that you might not know about. And if you've got any suggestions, just throw them in the comments section. Any songs you're really wondering what it is. I mean, I kind of have to do a bit of research to find this out. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the Beatles recording, other people not so much, but so I might not be able to do it, but I can always give it a go. So like I said, thanks for watching, and have a good afternoon, evening, breakfast, nighttime, 3 a.m, whatever, bus ride. However you're watching this, enjoy the rest. Cheers.